That's watched free footage of me playing Life is Strange True Colors on Xbox Series X. I've played the game on PS4 and PS5, and I've never had a problem with the game. No glitches whatsoever. As soon as I play it on Xbox, it's not working. A little weird. Oh yeah, then I was replaying Legion Bloodline, and accidentally drew a tick with the map declutter. Anyway, Middle Review Tomb Raider anniversary. Yeah. It's good. Not as good as Legend, but still good. It's weird the fact that technically there are some human enemies, but you don't actually fight them. It's more like cutscenes and QTEs and all. And also, like, the game likes to throw you in very claustrophobic places, like very small corridors with lots of corners. You sort of try a corner, you get jump scared by like a bear. And usually I do the meme segment, then the Twitter segment, because since I'm already on Twitter, I'm just going to do the Twitter segment, then the meme segment. This Twitter as of 8 past 7 p.m. on Wednesday, the 13th of April 2022. The far right's obsession with fitness is going digital. Okay, one, it always was digital. It never wasn't digital. And two, you say far right, but really what you mean is anyone that disagrees with us in any way. Like, I am a centrist, probably closer to a liberal than a conservative. Sorry, I have hiccups. But just what it is that you're far left. PS always has you're trying to be more progressive, and something that you believe needs progression on is fat acceptance. So I guess the non far left decided to retaliate against how BS that is by constantly making memes about how going to the gym and all that, being fit. That's probably the origin for the based meme, the the Chad, and because it is not healthy for you to be constantly promoting fat acceptance, and I'm not saying that we should go out of all the fat people and say, oh, lose the weight, you prick, and all that, because it would be hypocritical if I were to say that. But right, I understand being offended by people telling you to lose the weight, even if it's in a supportive, like a genuinely supportive manner. But it's good advice, because if if people are being genuine, saying, trying to encourage you, that is not bullying, because that's really what it comes down to. Go, I'm being bullied for being fat, and people are, you know, being trying to be helpful if they have good intent. I know I'm probably going on too long for this, but whatever. They have good intent to try and get you to lose the weight. That's fine, because there is no there's only cons to being fat, right? I'm only going to name one. You're far more likely to get heart disease. Oh, and someone commented below it. Oh, it's disappeared. It was like, yeah, push up, anti-Semitic act. I think it's quite anti-Semitic to say that push-ups are anti-Semitic, because you're basically saying that Jews can't do push-ups, which is quite anti-Semitic to say that a Jewish person couldn't do something that any non-Jew could. As predicted. Dog whistle, dog whistle, dog whistle. Normally I don't do these threads, but whatever. How porn destroys nations and your brain. They declared war on you by weaponizing pornography. Porn is not an innocent hobby or without consequences. Your brain shrinks, families fall apart, and nations fall. Ancient Rome fell partly because of it, and modern society is on the brink of collapse due to sexual liberation. I don't think the porn existed back then, but I'll go with it for now. First, some science. Grey matter is significantly reduced with porn exposure. It's the stuff in your brain that is involved with speech, emotions, muscle control, memory, seeing, and hearing. Porn makes you literally retarded. You shouldn't say the word literally, because it doesn't make you literally retarded, but it probably can cause you to go so dumb to the point where you are legally considered a retard. Scientific evidence shows that grey matter decreases over time with porn use. You are easily controlled if they eviscerate your brain first, which leaves you with depression, social anxiety, crippling addiction, and erectile dysfunction. Jack. The prefrontal neocortex, which regulates self-control, descends into a juvenile state because of porn. This makes porn a sophisticated weapon by targeting such a specific piece of the brain, the part which makes you, you. Right, so healthy volunteers. I don't know what I'm really looking at. I know it's a human brain, but there's a yellow bit there. And then there's compulsive pornography users, and the yellow bit's getting bigger. And because the rest of it is grey, I'm going to assume that's what grey matter is. I don't actually know what grey matter is, but I'm going to assume that it's a good thing. And because this is growing, kind of like a virus actually, the grey matter in your brain is being reduced. Notice how porn wrecks the part where the pineal gland resides. The gland is believed to be the seat of the soul. Alright, now let's not get into philosophy when we're talking about science here. Okay, so yeah, grey matter serves to process information in the brain, so it's a good thing. And consuming a lot of porn is reducing that. No person in the entire world could guess what the next tweet in this thread is. I briefly looked at it, and yeah, you can't predict it. If it can load. Now we'll look at how Israeli forces used porn as a weapon. This part might get me banned. In 2002, when the IDF occupied Ramallah, they started broadcasting pornography to the Palestinians. They could not leave their homes because of Israeli snipers. IDF knew Palestinians were desperate for information, so they poisoned their minds instead. Wait a minute, pornography is freedom, right? Highly doubt the IDF was bringing freedom to the Palestinians. Perhaps the first instance in a war scenario where porn was actively weaponized to gain control over a people, though it started way earlier. The decadence of Rome is a popular theory of why Rome fell. There were many factors in sexual Immorality definitely played a role. It just didn't happen overnight. Decadence is a slow poison. One of the precursors to the French Revolution began by subverting the morals of the French. Sexual depravity became common, and naked ladies were shown in the theatres. This was when pornography was still in its infant stage. After World War II, Germany was flooded with pornography that subverted the morals of Germans and left them docile and blind. Derailing the people lowered the risk of a rational response to what was going on. The setup for the 1960s sexual revolution has begun, which is actually something that we learned about recently in media because of Kiss of the Vampire. And there was a woman with big tits wearing a tight dress in the poster, and that's wrong, apparently. Due to the normalization of porn in magazines, young college women in the 70s began reading about masturbation, among other things. The process of decadence is slow until high-speed internet allowed porn to spread like cancer. Fast forward to the present day, decades of moral subversion left the millennial and Zoomer generations isolated. Due to impaired emotional bonding, families are not made, which forms the fabric of a nation. Ask a regular young man or woman about marriage and children. See the absolute hatred and contempt they harbour towards those duties. Luckily, not all of them. Even Boomer and Gen X married couples suffer severely due to porn. Low marital quality, commitment compromised, inability to orgasm with a real life partner. Weak fathers create the sluts we see today. Porn addiction is worse than drugs or being a fat ass. Drugs can make you overdose and a stomach gets full. Lust is never satisfied. Our Christian ancestors were well aware of sexual corruption. Sex is a gift from God, but it becomes a problem when it's subverted. Lust indulged became habit, and habit unresisted became necessity. St. Augustine. Every time you're tempted to watch porn, imagine if you really want to be the last of your bloodline engaging in sterile activities. It's not worth, bros. Normal interaction with the opposite sex literally raises testosterone and happy hormones. Porn takes this God-given gift away. Let's enjoy real life. Thank you for taking the time to read. Highly appreciate it. If you like and retweet this thread, help out a brother or sister struggling with porn and share it with them. Follow me if you like to see more posts like these. That looks too punishing. Likewise.
Doc start here for the Rays. He just was never able to get that hand out in front.
My ears, my brain. Whatever that word is. Boing. This is sort of like boing, I guess. Whatever. Alright, buddy. Let's do your taxes. We got you 0.05 Bitcoin around 50k. Now it's around 40k. So your net income is about negative $500. Insane video of a Russian tank appearing on a road and firing from close distance at a group of Ukrainian servicemen. Poor guy slaughters the Ukrainian tank. Oof, tough to watch. Couldn't imagine living in a war zone. I definitely can't show this video. But, yeah, see all those guys there? Looking like they're minding their business. Probably are minding their business. A couple seconds after this screen, after, like, where I've paused, they just get blown to pieces. But I'm not gonna say if it's Ukrainians or Russians firing. I'm not gonna say if it's Ukrainians or Russians standing there, because there's a lot of misinformation coming out of the I know I've already mentioned it twice, but about the misinformation, but you know, I don't want to spread any more. Elon has decided not to join our board. I sent a brief note to the company sharing with you all here. I don't understand why Elon did it, considering he spent a huge chunk of money becoming the number one shareholder of Twitter, only to not join the board. Which I like. That was the whole point. He was gonna do two things: one, put in an edit button for tweets, and two, ensure that freedom of speech is protected on Twitter. I don't understand how he's gonna do that without being on the board, but whatever. So I think there was something that someone was talking about this person on one of the previous Twitter videos, Many people are asking if I am the CEO of transgenders. Yes, it's true. She is the CEO of transgenders. Huge elf from Nanamura. Groomers aren't poggers. Collar tied up nice and tight, I guess. I want collar. Still gotta get my Catboy Ranch collar tag. These are all femboy politics. Remember that time Caffles ran Catboy Ranch and had a bunch of under 18 Twitter fanboys get collars with the name on it? Sad the cult crap is deleted. I don't know, some easily fake tweets aren't very substantial evidence. Have fun defending your horrible human being. Silence, groomer. Homeboy just proved wrong. Just got proved wrong and then doubled down. LMAO, Twitter brain is wild. Proved wrong implies the other person posted proof, which they didn't. Try harder next time. I'm gonna look at this video, but not now. Smash capitalism. My brother in Christ, you couldn't stop a web cartoonist selling NFTs. I'm also too, you gotta sort back in that guy. No, I just find that comfy, but I know what you mean. Reject anglification. Behave in mud. Walked into the place and asked if they sold butter. Sorry, no, but then a pause. How much do you need? Just cooking dinner? Love you, New York City. Can't believe New York City is so great that you can buy butter from a shop. City living is so lush. What if I told you that a farmer shoving a bottle up his ass started a domino effect that ended in war, genocides, and the collapse of an entire country? The Serbian bottle incident. Little lie that destroyed a country. A man shoving a bottle up his ass. The collapse of Yugoslavia. I've seen the video. I don't remember much from it other than there was a massive cover up because, like, man goes to the hospital with a bottle stuck up his ass and he, like, obviously there's going to be questions, so he says to people that, some Serbians, I think he said they're Serbians, I don't remember the, like, race politics of it, but I'm just going to say Serbians for now. Some Serbians, beat him up, shoved the bottle up his ass, and all that. And then, like, the Yugoslavian army, I guess, I don't know, was talking to him, and that they made a massive cover up. We don't even know if, like, what the guy said is true, or if he just was, I'm just gonna be blunt about it. We don't know if he was being honest, or if he was just lying about him using it as a dildo. If we didn't have the Electoral College, George W. Bush and Trump wouldn't have become president. Roberts, Alito, Gorish, Kavanaugh, and Corny Barnett wouldn't be on the Supreme Court, and America would be a much fairer place. It would also be true if more than 60% of registered Democrats actually voted. We can't blame everything on the system. If we can get out and vote, we can change the system. Might have a better turnout without an electoral college. It gets rid of that idiot system of their people not voting because their state is a solid color. Hitler won with a majority vote. Hitler lost to Paul von Hindenburg by about 6 million votes. Oh, no. Yeah, I have no idea what this guy was doing, but this man gets pussy. The Elden Ring speedrun record is 6 minutes and 59 seconds LMFAO. I might watch it, just not now. In America, healthcare should be a right, not a privilege. Nothing that someone else is required to provide can be a right. That's true. This is a pretty common conservative claim about healthcare, but I've never understood it. Don't we have a ton of rights that require someone to do something? The right to an attorney technically means that someone has to agree to be your attorney. The more I think about it, the more I'm having trouble coming up with a right that doesn't require someone to do something to protect it. Like, what would that even look like? Libertarian. The government's only rule should be to protect property rights. Me. But would not the protection of property rights require someone to provide us protection? Libertarian. Lights yourself on fire. Hi, Libertarian candidate here. Governments don't Governments don't put guns to people's heads and force them to join the police or be a detective. Those are careers the people willingly, very important word, choose to do by way of financial payment of their labours. The exact same goes for an attorney. No one is being forced to free threats or anything else to be a person's attorney. They freely choose to do it because they want to be paid. Hope this helps. A further note in case anyone says, well, what if no one wants to be someone's attorney? Libertarians operate primarily on natural rights gathered from man's own logic and nature. The right to an attorney is not part of natural rights at all, but something dreamt up in democratic republics who seem to enjoy picking and choosing what rights they uphold. So if no one wanted to be someone's attorney, then natural rights are still being observed, since you don't have a right to anyone else's labour. What about 2A? What about it? This video could go way faster if Twitter wasn't like having a hard time loading stuff. I don't understand what it is. Hey Marcus, love you in your vids, but you should really brush up on your trade. You're not explaining this well at all. Which part did you not understand? Maisie Williams, I want to be in the show because I'm the best person to do this, not because I'm the only girl who would take her top off. For the cover of GQ Stan, Maisie Williams discusses Game of Thrones spin-offs, female nudity, and her new series Pistol. There's no way that's Maisie Williams in the photo there. Jesus. I'll need more context on it because I'll need to look up what the show is about, so just hold on. So it's a show about the Sex Pistols. I don't know who Maisie plays. I'm gonna assume it's Nancy. Nope, it's not. Someone called Jordan. I don't know who Jordan is. Like I would have been able to come up with something if she played Nancy, because I would have said, oh, she's saying that she's the only person that's able to play Sid Viciously girlfriend who he murdered. I don't really know much about Sex Pistols or the Sid and Nancy stuff. I literally only know about Sid and Nancy because there was a Foster the People song that was named after them. Really good song, you should check it out. So the only other thing I can think of is that she's gonna do a nude scene in the show when she feels that she's the only person who can do it. There are other people who are comfortable doing nudity, Maisie. Right, I'll address you, Lord Arse. The reason why the 23rd of April is trending on Twitter is because the 23rd of April is not trending on Twitter. Just a bunch of people have been tweeting out that this thing is going to happen on the 23rd of April. There's going to be a video lesson on screenwriting. It's the 40th anniversary of ZX Spectrum. I don't read that language, but something. And also, lemonade. What? Lemonade? Flavor ice cream will launch on 23rd of April. These are all, you know, it shouldn't really be considered trending since people are talking about different things that just so, you know, that they're all happening on the same day. So it's not really trending. Also hard to understand. Okay, so I expected this to be a non-trending thing because if you look at the podium, these are two different events that Ben Shapiro was doing, but no, it's this article has gotten a different photo, a photo from a different event for some reason. But Ben Shapiro called Bozo by shooting during anti-transgender event. The hated exchange also included a reference to Ben Shapiro's infamous critique of the Cardi B song WAP. I'm just going to play the video the serfs have provided.
I literally that I use throughout the speech, not gender identity.
You sound like a
disorder,
bozo, bro.
which is
And you get no
identified
pussy, and you can't even make your wife wet, bro. So what's good?
dysphoria, which
I literally.
Mental people are having a little more difficulty than normal around college kids. Except that would be true if the college kids actually had an argument, but they didn't. They did not have an argument against what Ben was saying whatsoever, and I don't even know what Ben was saying because you didn't actually provide what he was talking about, other than, I guess, gender identity dysphoria. But like, there was no argument from that guy. It was two insults. You sound like a bozo, and you can't make your wife wet. Like, you can't really use the fact that he can't make his wife wet as an insult, considering he's admitted it himself. Like Marcus is always talking about how small his dick is, so you can't use that as an insult, considering, you know, it's already public knowledge that he has admitted himself. What do you mean by magic mushrooms? Is that like the drugs that make you high? Is that what you mean? I don't understand. I don't understand what magic mushrooms are. Also, I'm surprised that only up to 5% of adults worldwide suffer from depression. I thought that statistic would have been way higher, but I'm glad it's not. Also, Ghost of Tsushima movie that we've already known about, like, ever since the game came out, was being made, but people are only talking about it now for some reason. Like, as soon as the game came out, it came out that the director of the first 5 John Wick movies he's going to be directing a Ghost of Tsushima movie, but people are only talking about it now as if it's like a new news. I'm not excited for it because, so, like, if you want to adapt the game, turn it into a show. Never make a movie, ever. I mean, it could be good. Like, I think this does have real potential because we don't really have any big samurai movies in the West. I mean, there's stuff like Seven Samurai from the 50s that was very popular and even influenced, like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And there was also that episode of Star Wars Visions. But other than that, we don't really have much. So it does have the potential to be big.